What's up guys, Justin Fuller here, and today I'm outside of Walt's Live Oak Ford here in Live Oak, Florida. These guys are gonna get set up to track not only their keys, but also their cars at the Ford dealership and then across town over at the CDJR store. So let's hop in and see how they do it. So one of the great things about the Lot 360 management tool is it allows you to track your keys in cars, right? But what about when cars get left, I don't know, in a service bay? Maybe you set something down. Maybe it got left in a car. Maybe it got dropped under all this stuff behind me, right? It can be really hard to find a key, and you're wasting all that time when you could be working on the car or maybe potentially selling it. This is where we come into play. You can use our app or you can use our desktop to find those keys and find those cars quicker. So not only is this cutting down on lost key costs, but additionally this is gonna cut down and make you more efficient as salespeople, PDI guys, BDC teams, pretty much everybody at the dealership who needs to find a key and find a car. All right guys, so here I am sitting inside of this brand new 2021 Ford Ranger, but I wanna talk to you about the tags that we use as far as tracking your keys and your cars. Ideally, you're probably gonna do both, so we're gonna talk about both of this, right? So the first thing we're gonna use is the key tags, right? So this is what we connect to your keys, whether it goes into a pegboard like they're using here at Walt's Ford, or maybe you're using a key track system, or maybe you're using a keeper system or a key vault or whatever it may be. We integrate with a lot of these different systems, so chances are we can work with them. It won't be an issue. If you ever have questions, though, feel free to reach out, right? So this is what we're gonna throw on your keys, right? And to connect that on the back, I've got a QR code, so it's super simple. You could scan it with a phone and connect it up to a stock number, a VIN, however you wanna do this, right? So that's what we're using for keys. Now, when it comes to cars, we're using something a little bit different, so a little bit bigger. That's this tag that you see right here, right? So a little bit bigger. I can throw this around the rearview mirror, and that way it'll live in the car. It'll be easy to see, or you could throw it around your sun visor here in case you wanted to fold it up and out of the way, in case you're just concerned about, hey, I don't really want it that visible, right? So a couple different ways that you can do this. But this is what we use as far as tracking keys, tracking cars. All right, guys, so the first way to track your keys and to track your cars is gonna apply to a lot of your sales staff, and that's gonna be using your phone, right? So your sales guys are probably gonna be running around, maybe your PDI guys if they need to walk around and find where a key or car is, maybe your tech bay guys if they need to be able to find cars in the back if you're using this for the service side of things. And then we'll talk about who this applies to on the desktop side. So first off, let's talk about using the phone. So let's hop onto that and I'll show you what that looks like as far as running a search and tagging keys and cars. So let's hop on in. All right, guys, so here we are on the phone app, and what I'm doing is I'm just simply mirroring my phone here. So this is an iPhone. Obviously, it'll work with an iPhone or an Android, so no worries there. But I want to show you two important things here, and that's how to run a search for all your sales staff, your PDI guys, your BDC team, any of your service team, anybody who needs to find a key and find a car quickly, right? So I'm going to show you how to do that, and then I want to also show you how to tag a key in a car to a particular stock number or a VIN. Right, so let's run a quick search here. All I've got to do is hit find a key or find a car up there. From there, it's going to pull up and show me everything that's available in my inventory feed, right? Now, I can type in the search, so I could type in a stock number, type in a VIN, type in a partial. I could search by year, make, and model, right? If I could jump over, and it's only going to show you in that search down there what's available in your inventory, right? So different ways that I can do this depending on if they know the stock number VIN, or maybe they don't. Maybe you're just out on the lot with somebody and said, hey, can you pull up, all of the accurate MDXs that you have, or whatever it may be, right? So I'm going to jump back over here. Now, for the sake of this, let's just pretend that we're looking for this Acura ILX that's at the very top. You'll first be able to see that it's been tagged, the key on the car, because there's the icon on the screen, right? So you can see where it's been tagged. The car underneath that, you'll notice no icons, hasn't been tagged yet. And then the vehicle under that Chevy Camaro, both keys have been tagged. Which, just a reminder, you can tag a spare key and the main key and track both of those if you want, right? So we're going to click on this very first car. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to show me the location of the vehicle, and then I can jump over that next button, and it's going to show me where the car is, or excuse me, where the key is living, right? So this way, not only is it showing me, it's telling me too. So it's near the F&I office. It's actually telling me where it's at. So if I get over there and I can't find it, this is where I could come in, right? I'd zoom and get close to that personally, and then I get that find a tag button up here that you see. If I touch that, it's going to pull up my radar. And then from here, I can walk, and it'll show me as I get closer and hotter and cold, a white ball appear on the screen, and it'll move closer to the immediate section at the bottom, or further away, right? So this way, when I'm walking around, if I get near a desk and I start going, oh, okay, it's in this part of the desk, it's in one of these drawers, right? So I can really narrow this down, right? So if a key, comes out of your key machine, leaves the pegboard, right? Leaves an office, wherever your keys are living, the key machine, right? Whether it's one micro, whether it's a keeper, maybe it's the boxes on the windows, right? Maybe you're using like Key Advantage stuff or Supra or Indigo. There's a lot of different options. All of these will apply, right?
So that's the key. Let's jump back to that vehicle. So I can see that they're actually storing this vehicle in like a spillover lot in the back of the dealership, right? So I know that it's back there. So before I even like start to walk out on the lot or look around out front or on the sides or whatever, I can quickly put this together, right? So I know that this is not only at their CDJR store, but I also know where at that store because we're tracking at both locations, right? So this is going to make it exceptionally easy for these guys to find these vehicles quicker. Now, in here, I could drop in notes. So if I needed to drop in a note because there was something going on with the car, I absolutely could do it. And then I could see what's tagged right here. And I can also add tags from here, right? So I could add some additional ones if I want, or I could jump back and do it from the main home screen, which I'm going to show you how to do. Right, so that's how to run a search. We'll click through here. I'll do it one more time. We'll just scroll down here and find another car. So let's go with the Chevy Colorado right here. I click on that. Boom, immediately pulls it up. It's showing me where the vehicle is living, so I can see that's on the side of the building. I can see where the key is at, and additionally, it's telling me, hey, that key is actually in the service manager's office, right? So I know where the key is at. I jump back to the car. It's telling me it's in the it's in the middle, over off to the side of the building, right? So it makes it very easy. If you got a bigger lot, or it's inclement weather, you don't want to be running around looking for a car and a key, wasting time when your customer is standing on the showroom kind of going, hey, what's going on? Where are these guys at? You know what I mean? So this is going to make you more efficient, and it's going to save you from cutting keys, right? You're not going to lose these keys anymore, because if it's left outside, you're going to know. If it's in the building somewhere, you're going to know, right? All right, so let's jump back to the home screen, and I want to show you how to connect up a tag, right? So the key tags we talked about earlier, these little small triangle tags that I'm holding right here. So I'm going to show you how to connect up one of those first. So all I do is go to this True Tag Management button, right? So second button down here, and then I'm going to type in a stock number or a VIN, right? So this is going to be to a car that's already in my inventory feed. Now, if this isn't something in your inventory feed, I'll explain how to do that in here in a second. But for the sake of this, let's pretend it's that very first one, that 2017 Cadillac XT5, right? I've got a car button down there and a key button, right? So they are making this exceptionally easy for me on whether I'm connecting up the key or connecting up the car tag, right? So first thing I'm going to click on is I'm going to do key first, just because that's what we talked about. Now, I could type in what's on the back of that tag, right? And we talked about that earlier. You can see there's numbers and letters on there, or I could simply scan it, right? There's a QR reader in that search bar that I can click on. When I click on that, I can then flip my tag over and just scan it, right? So it's going to make it a lot easier. And then I just hit assign. Now, obviously, this hasn't been registered to this dealership. This is just an old dead promo tag that I have, but you would assign it and you're good to go, right? So easy enough to do that. Same thing with the car tag, hit the car button, right? I could either type in those numbers or letters on the back of the tag, or I could simply just run the scan, right? So if I want to scan these, if I'm getting cars as they come off of a truck, I mean, that'll literally take, 10 seconds? So anything that's new, anything that's pre-owned, that maybe you bought it at auction, and it's already in your inventory feed, you're going to be able to tag these up exceptionally fast. Now, let's pretend it's something that isn't in your inventory feed. And there's going to be two different things that kind of apply here. The first being is, hey, I just sold them this Cadillac, and they traded in a car. I want to connect these tags up immediately to that trade. Absolutely, you could do it. I could come in here and start typing what that VIN or stock number is. Chances are you're going to do VIN, just because maybe you have a, whatever your stock number numbering system is, might be a little bit different, right? So I go in here, right, and let's say, I just start putting in some random numbers, whatever it may be, and hit my search, right? From this part, it's going to say, hey, this isn't currently showing in your inventory. Would you like to add it? And is this a VIN or a stock number? I would just hit VIN, right? From there, I add it and then do that same process that we just went through, right? Which was come to that car that I've just created, click on the key of the car button, and tag it up, right? So I can immediately start tracking trades from the minute the keys get handed off to somebody, maybe it gets handed to a porter, maybe it goes down to a trade line, and then it starts moving all over the dealership. Maybe it starts through your recon process, which now that you're tracking these vehicles through your recon process, I offer software for that too. So if you want to track how much time it takes in each step and your overall process and get reports and all kinds of stuff like that, I have a whole thing that you can use on that, which I'll throw it up here at one of the tops of the screen, a link if you want to watch a video on that. If you have questions, feel free to give me a call, text, email. I'd be more than happy to walk you through how it works and talk to you a little bit more about it. So that's how to run a search. That's how to connect up a tag. So that's quickly using the app, right? Very easy to understand. Now, we're going to hop over to the dashboard here in a second and go over some additional features. But before we go, there's just one thing I want to remind you guys. You saw how I added in something manually, right? Well, I don't have to do this for just keys or just cars. Maybe you've got jump boxes that you want to track. Maybe you've got temp tags that these guys can't seem to hold on to. They leave them on cars, they float off, they can't find them, things like that. You can track those as well. I could name the temp tag, put it in there manually, connect up a tag, and then, connect it to it, right? So now I can track that specific temp tag. I can track that specific jump box, that golf cart key. Every dealership has those items that seem to wander off, right? Just think about that. A lot of different ways you can apply this outside of the norm, which is keys and cars. So let's hop over to the dashboard next, and I will walk you through how that works and show you some of the additional powers that you have to use towards opening and closing duties. Talk about using your inventory manager. Talking about looking at all of a type of car and where they're sitting on the lot and really understanding the organization and the lot system that you're running. So let's hop over to that and we'll check it out. All right, guys, so here we are on the desktop dashboard, right? So you can run searches out of both, but this is going to give you a little bit more power and a little bit more information. So this is going to apply to a few extra people and a little bit more of a higher up look as to the dealership and managing lot location, keys, cars, assets, and a few other things, right? So over here on the far left, I'll just kind of walk you through briefly. This is going to be the general search area. So just like before, I can search out by VIN, stock number, whatever it may be. I can go year, make, and model, all of those different things, right? And I'll show you exactly how some of that works here in a second. And you've got all these different, kind of filters that you have here additionally, right? Now, across the top, you're going to see some different things here, right? And they're labeled off. So tagged keys pre-inventory, right? So these are all your pre-owned keys. So you have 113 tagged out of 167. Now, you have 54 that aren't remaining. I can click on that 54. It'll give me the list of those 54 right there. Now, how it's doing that is because it's pulling from your inventory feed, it can see all of your inventory feed, regardless of what's tagged and what isn't. So this is fantastic on the sense that I can look at this and go, okay, well, what's up with these 54, right? Why aren't they tagged? Now, anytime I click on something like that, it's going to immediately create these filters or these breadcrumbs right here that you can see that are filtering out my search, right? So just like any other search you'd run on a website. Now, next to that, new keys, right? So same thing, 14 out of 19. Makes sense. Everybody's low on inventory right now. So they got 5 that they haven't tagged yet, which I could click on that 5 and see exactly, what's going on with those 5. And maybe there's a note in one of them, right? Maybe there's a reason that they aren't tagged. You can check into that. So as you come across, then it's inventory, right? So my pre-owned inventory and then my new inventory. So I can see each individualized section to keep it a little bit better. Now, locations, this is going to be what you're seeing on here. Right, and just to remind you, there is, of course, this Ford store, and then if I zoom out on the map, there's a CDJR store, too. So when I ran the searches earlier that we talked about when I was running those cars that you were seeing were living in this CDJR backlot, right? So just so you can kind of understand, they're actually tracking at 2 different locations. So if I'm at one store, I can see if we use cars at another store. Excuse me. So it's just going to help you out as far as if you share maybe a used car lot, you can absolutely tell, hey, well, it's actually at this other location. I know that if I'm talking to a customer on the phone, whether I'm a sales guy, BDC team, sales manager, whoever it is, if I'm trying to actively sell that vehicle, right? So it starts to help me understand where my stuff is so I can better sell and just give out better customer service, right? But additionally, I also know that I might need to go get that car and bring it over here if it's right down the road, if somebody's going to come by in an hour or something, right? So just making me better at my job. So that's what you're seeing right here. This is that network that I talked about at the very beginning of the video that we create. So we've got, those all lined up at both locations, and then we geofence off these, and this will all be custom to your specific store, and it'll be labeled, according to your store. And no worries, if you end up adding a lot or subtracting, or you're buying a spillover lot, or you're building a parking structure, we can add those on after the fact. No big deal. Know that this is flexible. This can work with you. It'll flex in and bend with you. So always able to change and adjust, right? So you can see in these different locations, and you can see these numbers showing how many vehicles are currently living in that location, right? So if I clicked into that box, it's going to give me a list over here of all 14 of those cars. Now, where this starts to come into play is maybe if I click on a section, let's pretend this was service, not in a retail area, I might go, hey, well, why are these cars here? Well, I could turn this map off and export this list over here in this far left corner, and then send that list out to a service manager, go, hey, I just want to check on these 5 cars. Are they ready to go? Can I get these moved back over into a retail area? Right, so just different ways you can apply this as far as manage your inventory. Now, I can not only look at these numbers, but I can also turn on pins and start to see where cars are sitting. So know that there's a couple different ways I'll do that, and I'll show you how that works here in just a second. So across the top, additional things as far as locations related to keys as well. And then over here, last sighting, super cool. So what's cool about this is I can click on this 24 to 72 hours, and it's going to give me a list of any vehicles that haven't been seen on either one of those lots in the last 24 hours. Now, every morning, this is a fantastic opening duty. I could come in and check this, or I could go to this back office area up here and select a user, come down here and find them. So I'll select myself, and I could add the missing vehicle alerts check mark. And if I check that, I'm going to get an email each morning at 7 a.m. letting me know, hey, we haven't seen these vehicles. So as far as trying to manage assets and prevent theft, I can immediately start checking on assets to make sure that they're making it back to the dealership. Now, when I see this, I could click in here and immediately know, all right, well, do we have loaner paperwork on this? Did we do something specific? Or maybe I come over to activities and see if there's a note on it. Maybe we sent it out somewhere to have work done, body work done. Or maybe we loaned it out for the night or gave a sales guy the car to take because he was, moving something, maybe as a truck or something, right? So just different ways you can manage this and quickly figure out what's going on. So that's kind of a cool way you can use this as an opening duty. Now, while we're on that topic, I want to talk about closing duties. How can I use this? So I'm going to delete this search that we just ran as far as the, the last sightings, right? Now, at the end of a night, what I could do is come over here, and right now I'm looking at all of the vehicles that are on here. I can change this over to keys, And then once I've changed that to keys, I want to turn on my pins. Because at the end of the night, what I could do is zoom in and go, all right, every key should be back in the building at the end of the night. So if I see a key like this one, I could go, all right, well, what's going on with this, right? So I can click on this and go, all right, well, we need to figure out what's going on with this specific car. Somebody grab this stock number. Hey, run out there and figure out if this key got dropped or left in the car. You know, maybe a guy took 3 or 4 keys out there, was in some cars test driving, and he left it out there. It happens, right? We're humans. We're people. So this is where you can start to really manage that at the end of the night. So this way I can look and see, hey, is everything making it back into the building like it should? And that same thing, right? I could come over to the other store and do the exact same store. So now I've just managed every single key at the end of a night across 2 locations in a matter of, what, seconds. I was able to pull up and go, oh, okay, I got 1 key floating around here. What's going on with this one, right? Hey, somebody go find this for me real quick. Hey, put in the stock number in your app on the phone. Go out there, find this key for me. They can use that app finder. They can use the radar, so if they get close and they think it's in a car, just hold their phone up to a car and they'll know, right? So this is how you can start really manage your access and preventing lost keys ever again, right? So you can really start to understand where your keys are at and where they're going. So opening and closing duties for like a sales manager, this is fantastic. You could set this up and really make their job easier and being able to understand where the assets are and making sure they're all making it back to where they need to be. Right, so all I had to do was simply turn on the assets to keys and then turn the pins on, right? So easy enough to understand. So that's one of the cool ways that you can use this as far as an opening and closing duty for a manager. Now, earlier we talked about adding in things as a manual entry, whether it be a trade-in that you just took in, a jump box, a golf cart key, you know, whatever it may be. Those are all going to live in a separate territory up here, and you'll see manual entries up there at the top and then one of these boxes. So I've got 35, 186, right? So if I click on the 35, it'll show me all 35 things that are manual entries that they have going on right now. And from here, I can start to put it together because you can name them, right? So you may have named it, you know, loaner car. Maybe you named it, you know, temp-tag, whatever it may be, golf cart, you know, the jump box 1. So just understand that you can visually see all of those manual entries as well. So you have a separate box related to that. Now, next to that box is kind of a cool one, and this is the photo status booth, right? So if I have a photo guy who comes by and takes pictures of cars, really all he needs to be able to see is some basic information, right? He just needs to see, hey, I got 77 remaining cars that I need to go take pictures of, right? So for him, you could set up a specific person, a vendor, come in here, use their account, I'll go to myself again, and just set them up as the photographer. Now, when you do this, it restricts access to a lot of those other things, and that's why there's this notification here, because all it's going to show them is, hey, I just need to be able to see the 77 vehicles that still need images taken, right? Be able to spit out that list and then go find and get through that job quicker. So not only is this making your sales team faster, your PDI team faster, your service guys, your BDC better, it's also going to make like vendors, like your photo booth guy faster, right? So this is helping everyone out. Now, across here, we did jump into this back one, and we saw, we saw last sightings, and we talked about that. Days in inventory, really cool tool. Your inventory manager and sales managers can use this, especially like a used car manager. Now, the used car market's hot right now, so this isn't quite as big of a problem, but it still is, right? I can click on here right here and go, I want to see everything that's 90 plus days old, and it gives me a list. So now I know, hey, what's all my old age units? Can I get a list really quickly? Do I want to export that list? Cool, no problem. Export, boom, done. Right? I can hand that off to somebody and go, let's figure out what's going on with these cars. But one step better, what if I can then click on the pins and see where these vehicles are, right? Why aren't these cars selling? Is it just a bummer of a car that we bought that we're too deep into that we can't really discount to the right price? Or is it because it's sitting way over in a corner behind the building and no one's getting, it's not getting visible. It's not getting eyes on it, right? Maybe I need to move this vehicle away from there, right? Maybe I need to get these out front of the building, in front of some people, get some traction on them, hang tags, balloons, whatever it is that you want to do to try to get rid of those vehicles, right? You want to park them somewhere that's a little bit more visible. This is a good way to be able to look at that as far as old age units, right? So different ways that you can apply this outside of the norm of just searching a key in a car. Now, the last way you can apply this is similar to this, but in the instance of maybe I'm talking about a new car that I have some incentive on, or maybe it's even a pre-owned car. Maybe you have rates or something running, or you have some sort of money coming back or something specific from the manufacturer. Well, what if I could come over here to the search and go, yeah, I want to see, whatever it may be. Since this is a Ford store and a Chrysler Jeep Dodge store, I'm going to click on Fords, and we're going to come down here and go to something, right? So I'm going to work to see if I can get more than one, since I know for a fact that everybody's low on inventory. But let's pretend this was all brand new Ford F-150s, and I had some incentive, and I was like, hey, I can make bigger grosses on these. I really want to push these cars, right? Well, what if I could come onto the map, see where all of them are sitting at, and go, well, why are they all spread out like this? Why aren't all my new F-150s sitting right next to each other? One, to make my sales team better, so they can walk out there and go, yeah, I've got them all. They're all sitting right here. right next to each other, right? So you're improving the organization of the lot. You're making your sales team faster. And then immediately I know I could put hang tags on all those cars, put them next to each other, move them somewhere that I want to be visible because I know I can make higher grosses off these and I want them to be in front of more eyes, right? So now I'm making more money. I'm cutting down on lost key costs. I'm making my sales team more efficient. I'm making my lot better organized. Like, look at all the things you can do with this, right? So just different ways you can apply this, to an assortment of different, positions at the dealership as far as efficiency, cutting costs, just making everything overall, quicker, faster, better, right? And that's the goal, is to give a great customer experience, because we all know they could go, 5 miles across the town and maybe find another Ford store or CDJR store, Honda store, whatever it may be. But when you can provide that level of service, you come off really organized and put together, you sell cars, right? People want to buy from people that they trust and they like.
All right, guys, so let's recap what we talked about today. First off, we learned that you can track your keys and you can track your cars with us, or you can track both, of course, right? Now, who are the different people that can use our tool? First would be your sales staff, right? It makes sense that they would need to be able to find keys quickly, whether it's on a pegboard, whether it lives in a key machine, whether they're shoved in desks, whether they get left in a tech bay, whether they get over at PDI, whether it's coming off the truck and you want to immediately have that key tag. We have a lot of different places these keys leave that you can find them, right? And then the car, same thing. If it's in a tech bay, if it's over at PDI, if it's in the back of your dealership, the front of your dealership, maybe it's in a spillover lot, maybe you have a parking structure that you need to know which level they're on. All of these things can be done with these tags. So a lot of different people can use these tags for a lot of different reasons. Now, sales team can use it. Of course, your PDI guys, of course, your tech bay guys. Now let's look at some auxiliary people that you may not even really think about. People like your BDC team. What if I told you that while they're on the phone or in an email, they could say, hey, I can actually see the car. Yes, sir. The car is it's on our lot. If you want to come by, when can you come by? I'll go grab the key out of the key machine and have it pulled up and ready for you, right? That's customer service at a different level. Or if it's across at your spillover lot, or if it's in your parking structure, or it's at one of your sister stores. Sir, I can see that's at one of my sister stores, but I'd be happy to bring it on over here. When can you come by? Right? You can continue to set appointments and sell cars. So a lot of different people can use this to help them out and be more efficient and cut down on those lost key costs, right? A lot of times guys are telling me, hey, we're billing this out to the car, or hey, I'm just going to charge my sales staff. Well, what are they going to do if you're charging your sales staff? They're going to spend the next 2 days looking for that key because they don't want to pay to replace a $350 key fob, right? So now they're wasting all that time and they're not selling. Or you're billing at a car deal and then you're losing out on gross. We can help eliminate those things. We're eliminating the lost key costs and we're improving efficiency across the dealership through a lot of different staff members. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, you want to learn a little bit more about this, you can always give me a call, text, or email. If you want to reach out to me, my phone number is 737-443-9555. And all these details will be up at the end screen. Or you can email me, my first name, Justin, _Fuller@TrueSpot.com. And I'll put my calendar link. So if you'd like to schedule a demo, set up a couple minutes to talk about your specific store, that'll be in the description below, right? And I'll put it at the end. So a couple different places that you can find me if you want to talk more about your store, and we'll get it figured out. Other than that, I appreciate you watching, and let it go.